Hi everyone, welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. Believe it or not, I'm going to do an episode today on how to make a taco casserole. And funny, I thought I had already done one, but then realized that I'd done different combinations, but never a taco casserole. And so here's today. It's just a totally delicious meal. We're going to do it in two parts. So first thing is we need to cook the ground meat. Now, many of you already know that I don't eat beef, so I like using ground turkey. So we can do ground turkey, or if you have ground beef, or some people have deer meat, whatever floats your boat, you can use that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, this is actually avocado oil, and I've got it kind of hot here. So we're going to put a little bit of avocado oil in on the bottom. And then I'm going to go on and I'm going to add now my ground turkey to that, okay? And we're going to let that cook. And then while this is cooking, I'm going to tell you about some of the things we're going to be adding. And then we will take this and combine it in a casserole dish. So, because it wouldn't be a true casserole if we didn't put it in a casserole dish. But we just have to make a few things. So we're going to let this cook. And so that's the first thing that I want you to do is get your ground meat cooking well. So while that's doing that, let me just tell you what's coming up next. And then we're going to let this finish cooking and we'll come back and add things to it. So what we're going to be adding to this is we've got onions. We have bell pepper, any color you want. I have a jalapeno, one jalapeno, and what I did was I sliced it down the middle and I took half of the seeds out of one half and I left the rest. This obviously depends upon if you like it really hot. You can just keep the whole thing in there. If you don't want it hot at all, I like it medium, my husband and I like it medium. Then if you don't want it hot at all, take all the seeds out. But we're going to put this in, we're going to make basically a meat mixture. And then we have some Roma tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes, whatever you want. And here's kind of a secret ingredient here. This is actually a half of a zucchini. So we're going to mix that in there as well. So we've got, now you might say, zucchini in a taco casserole. Hey, get your vegetables any way you want. If you don't want to do it, you certainly don't have to. And then I have some garlic we're going to also mix with this. So once this cooks well, we'll start adding all these ingredients. Then we'll add our taco seasoning. You can just use one packet of taco seasoning. We'll add that, and then as I said, we'll layer this. We're going to layer it with beans, cheese, the meat, and what's optional is if you want to put tortilla chips on the bottom. So we are going to do it with tortilla chips. I was reluctant at first to actually cook it with that, but since you're putting it in the oven, and I say that because I like them crispy, so, but you're putting in the oven, so that actually helps to maintain some of the crispiness, and you can still add some more. So let's let this do its thing. Let's then come back, and then we're going to start adding these other ingredients to it. Okay, so the ground meat is done. A little trick, if you haven't seen me make other things with ground turkey, especially ground turkey, but it works in all ground meats. I usually use my potato smasher because it helps to break up the meat. I hate clumps. And I remember hearing someone say they don't like eating ground turkey because it's too thick when you cook it. Guess what? You've got great crumbles just like this if this is what you're going to be using. Ground turkey just works great, okay? So you want to make sure that's completely done. I'm going to say, this probably took maybe 5 minutes or so. And you're using basically about a pound of ground meat. All right, so now that we have that all set, let's go in and add our ingredients. So we've got some garlic here. We're going to add the garlic. And I just love garlic. It seasons just really nicely. I'm going to stir that in there. we're going to add onion. This is a half of a yellow onion. And then this is also a half of a bell pepper. And again, you can use more. If you are like, wow, I really love bell peppers, I want to have more than that in there, great, add it. Make it your own is what I always say. Let's go on and add our jalapenos because we do want those to get cooked some, at least a little bit, before it goes in the oven. So we got that stirred up nicely, and you'll see this is turning into, you know, quite a beautiful looking dish. All right, now let's go on and stir in our zucchini. Again, I've chopped these up in like bite-sized pieces. I'm saving the tomatoes for last because they really do cook fast. And again, what I've done in the interim is I have my oven. It's actually preheated to 375, and everything pretty much is going to be cooked by the time it gets in there, so you don't have to actually cook it for very long. But this is why we take the time here to make sure we cook it. Let's go on now. Let's add our tomatoes, and then we're going to add our taco seasoning so it could coat all of this. Now for me, this amount, 1 packet, is sufficient. If you like something to be a little saltier, what I would say is, obviously you can add it later, but if, you know, traditionally you use 1 packet of taco seasoning and it's not enough for you, then when you're cooking your ground meat, just add a little bit of salt and pepper to that. You know, that'll help to season it up some. So this is just looking delicious, just so pretty and healthy. Again, the show is really about coming up with some healthier alternatives. There's nothing bad in this. Some people might not like tomatoes, and we don't have a lot of tomatoes, but I am going to be using some salsa in the end, just as a dressing. So I'm going to let this cook, and while it's cooking, let me just do a couple of little prep things while we're here together. So I've got a bunch of stuff over here. I've got some cilantro that I will put on at the very end. So while that's doing that, we're going to just cut this up. And typically what I'll do is I will wash the cilantro, dry it some like with a paper towel, use my herb scissors, they're kind of interesting looking, and cut them just like this. And this is what we're going to do as part of our kind of the dressing. I also have already diced up an avocado, so we'll want to put some of that on top. Again, with that salsa I told you about. So this is just a little bit of prep work we've got here. Okay. Okay. So we're going to set this aside. And again, while this is still working, you know, there's a couple of other things we could be doing. So let's do that. Let me give it a swirl here. We don't want it to burn, of course. And I basically have this on medium heat. I know my dad, when he cooks, he turns everything on high. And I'm more of a medium person. Unless it, you know, I have something that I know has to be high or low. Okay, we're gonna let that cook a little bit more. While that's cooking, because this is where we're gonna also get into layering, I'm gonna pull over some of the things that I have here behind me. So I've got my casserole dish, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna layer this. This is a 8 by 11 or 2-quart dish. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna layer this. Bring everything over, and let's move the cilantro back with the avocado that I have sliced over here. So this is what I'm about to go through is a little optional. You can decide to put chips on the bottom or not. You don't have to. Totally up to you. But again, This is what makes it the taco casserole, that you've got chips on the bottom. And, you know, you're just going to kind of spread them generously around. Okay, just enough to cover pretty much the bottom of the dish. I'm putting the rest of them in here. On top of that, we're going to then put our beans. I've got black beans. I don't need to cook these again because you can eat these really right out the can. But if you would prefer refried beans, hey, you can do that as well. And you can just cook those, warm those up for you, and then you can layer them in. So I'm going to go on and turn this off because this is actually done. And we're going to go on and put our beans in here. Okay. Got the beans nicely spread. And now we're going to do, and this is a mixture. I actually have kind of Mexican cheese, which is a mixture of cheeses. Plus I have some cheddar, a little bit of the thicker pieces. And I'm just going to layer this here. Put that on top of that like so. Okay. All right. And now we're going to put this on top of that. You see how easy that is? And oh my gosh, of course, it smells so delicious. Just try to spread this as evenly as you can over what you've already laid down, like so. This turned out to be a really, really nice portion of meat. This is actually, you know, part of I like to buy my ground turkey from Sam's Club or Costco, and it comes in the 2-pack. So this is probably a little bit more, you know, kind of than that pound. So it's not one of the larger ones. I actually take 2 of them. They come in 2 packs, as you all probably know, and I make it into, I divide it up into 3s. All right, so now that we have that going there, now we're going to put the last layer of cheese, okay? So you're gonna put some good cheese all over the top of it, and I'm gonna get a little bit more. I actually had kept some over here on the side just in case, and in fact, I do need some more. Again, this is the mixture of cheese, because I do want this to be covered really nicely. And we're basically, you're looking at 2 cups of cheese. So if you do 1 cup of cheddar, or you just do, you know, this is like a, you do half of this in the middle and then half of it on top. That works beautifully. You can see that's lovely, lovely, lovely. And the last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add some black olives. So we're gonna just put them on top, and then we're gonna put it in the oven. And we're gonna let basically the cheese melt. That's really kind of what we're after. Spread these black olives across like so. All right, so in the oven it's going. I already have it preheated. Then we're gonna come back. We're gonna dip this out. It's so delicious. Oh my gosh. We're gonna dip some out in a plate and take a bite. And we're gonna add our avocado as well as our cilantro on top, okay? So in the oven it goes, 375. We'll be back when it's done. Okay, really in the oven, you just want the cheese to melt, time for the cheese to melt. I kept mine in for just 8 minutes. And I'm gonna show it. Of course, you should see a picture on the page, but look how delicious this looks. Oh my gosh. It is just fabulous. All right, some of the things that I have that I'm gonna top mine off with, you saw me cut up the cilantro, so I'm gonna add some of that. I dice my avocados, but guess what? This is where guacamole comes in. So if you like guacamole, put the guacamole on top. I'm not a sour cream person. If you like sour cream, add your sour cream. And then I have some salsa, so I'm gonna add that. Again, as I always say, make it your own. Whatever you normally do when you're doing tacos, you know, you want to do the same thing. And as I'm doing this, of course, my shells on the bottom are still crunchy, because, you know, I think that's part of what we're concerned about. Is it going to be crunchy? Is it going to be crunchy? You can see that cheese just kind of still, ooh, gooey, gooey. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's add just a little bit of just a little cilantro to the top. And we're gonna add, I have my diced avocados. Again, you can use your guacamole. And then I'm gonna just put some of my salsa. Yummy. Okay. Now I'm gonna try not to make the cameraman upset, because he's like, just stop eating so much of it on camera. It's hard to do when it's so good. So again, here, the chips are still crunchy. I just want to make sure I get a piece of everything. Some of the cheese, some of the chip, some of the meat, all of that, and avocado. Doing my happy dance. So good, so good. I won't do it. He's gonna tell me, stop eating, stop eating. Totally delicious. I know you're gonna enjoy it. Again, the hardest part or the longest part is cooking the meat mixture. When you're putting it in the oven, honestly, you're just trying to let the cheese melt. I think anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes will do great, because you don't want to overcook the cheese, okay? And then top it with whatever you enjoy. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're just joining, I come out with a video every other week. Something simple, delicious, and a healthier twist. As you saw, added a little zucchini there. That was a healthier way to add a good vegetable. And guess what? You don't even see it, and it's part of the green mixture. So if you haven't subscribed, click the little subscribe button. And I always appreciate your comments. Please like it, share it on your social pages, and tune in. Thanks again. Bye-bye.